The year was 1874. The West was wild. Dust devils danced across the plains, and in this unforgiving landscape rode Cactus Taint. He was a gunslinger, a force of nature, feared by all. Taint's eyes were cold steel. His hands moved like lightning. He wore a black Stetson and a duster coated in the dust of countless trails. He was a legend, whispered in saloons and around campfires. Some said he was born under a bad star. Others said he was touched by the devil himself. Whatever the truth, one thing was certain. Cactus Taint was a man to be reckoned with. He cast a long shadow. Cactus Taint was a man of contradictions. He was a ruthless killer. But he possessed a peculiar obsession, an oddity that set him apart. Cactus Taint loved mutant giraffe anaconda figurines. These weren't your average playthings. They were grotesque, twisted. Giraffe necks stretched impossibly long, ending in the gaping maws of monstrous anacondas. They were a terrifying reflection of the man himself. He'd scour every trading post he came across. His eyes would light up when he found a new one. He'd add it to his collection, a perverse menagerie of the bizarre. No one dared question this strange fascination. To do so was to stare death in the face. Bank robberies, stagecoach hold-ups. Cactus Taint's name was synonymous with chaos. He'd ride into town, guns blazing, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. Safes were blown open, their contents emptied. School teachers and sheep met untimely ends. Taint had a particular dislike for authority and innocence. His motives were often unclear, driven by a deep-seated rage. One story told of Taint riding into a peaceful Sunday service. He interrupted the sermon, then shot every hymn book in the church. He laughed as the townsfolk scattered. Cactus Taint was a law unto himself, an agent of chaos. Section 4. A scourge on the soul, Taint's war on religion. Cactus Taint had a special hatred for religion. He saw it as a crutch, a way for the weak to explain the unexplainable. He mocked preachers, desecrated churches, and reveled in the fear he instilled in the devout. One Sunday morning he rode into a small town. The church bells were ringing. He shot out the bells. Then he entered the church. He stood before the congregation, his eyes burning with contempt. "There's no God in these parts," he growled, and then he rode off, leaving silence in his wake. His disdain for faith was legendary. Some whispered he'd sold his soul to the devil. Others said he was simply a man without hope. Whatever the reason, Cactus Taint waged his own personal war on religion, a war he fought with bullets and dynamite. Section 5. Fate's cruel hand, the fall of Cactus Taint. For years, Cactus Taint evaded justice. He was a phantom, but even phantoms can fall. One stormy night, Tank was riding hard. He was being chased by a posse. Lightning flashed, thunder roared. He pushed his horse too hard. As he thundered across a rickety bridge, the rotten wood gave way. Horse and rider plunged down into the raging river below. The posse watched in stunned silence. Cactus Taint was gone, swallowed by the churning water, but the river had one final indignity in store. Taint's broken body washed up against a riverboat. He was churned through the paddle wheel, a brutal, ironic end for a man who lived by the gun. Section 6. Justice served. The aftermath. News of Cactus Taint's demise spread like wildfire. Some celebrated, others were more somber. He was a monster, yes, but he was a human monster. The townsfolk were left to pick up the pieces. The fear subsided, but the scars remained. Cactus Taint's crime spree had a lasting impact. It forced the frontier towns to confront their own vulnerabilities. The justice system, often slow and inefficient, underwent scrutiny. People demanded better protection. The legend of Cactus Taint became a cautionary tale, a reminder that even in the Wild West there were consequences, and that sometimes justice came in the most unexpected forms.